But like someone might be listening to this and saying, man, I don't understand all this, or I don't get all of this. But I think the point that I would stress is that we're talking about our situation. Your situation may be similar. You may be at a similar point or phase of life, or you may be at a younger point or a later point. The whole goal of this is to look at your situation strategically. Like, work with professionals to take a step back and look at your entire financial snapshot. Like, we looked at our entire net worth and everything and knew what it looked like. And then we could make decisions. And so that's what I hope people would take away from this is literally just take a snapshot of your financial situation, because it will shed light on some things that maybe you weren't aware of.
Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
The podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hello. How are you, babe?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
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 Oh, Lord. Are you feeling jiggy today?
Getting jiggy with it. La, 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 la. Getting jiggy with it.
Well, is that how you feeling? Well, we do have to get a little jiggy with it because I feel like today's topic is a little,
Hold on.
more in depth.
Before you get into that,
Yeah.
did you change your lipstick or something?
I'm trying out a new color.
Did you?
Do I have to? I have lipstick on my teeth already. You know.
I got you. I'm looking out for you.
Oh my!
You know what I'm saying?
It's coming off. This lipstick is coming off. Done.
Yeah.
I still got lipstick on my teeth.
No, you good.
Oh,
You
okay.
good.
Do you like it?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, do you like it?
Oh man, why you put me?
It's fine. You can hate it because I didn't make it. I just put it on my face. I can take it off.
Whatever you put on, you make it look good.
Oh wow. That's, you know what? That's a good husband response. That's all I'm going to say. I'm taking the lipstick back. I'm taking it back. Okay.
You know, it might be a little too dark for.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a little much. I was thinking one thing and it came out a little different than I expected.
It's all good.
But it's all good. Anyway, today's topic is.
It is a little more detailed.
It is.
It's not dark, but it's a little deeper.
No, not at all.
Richer.
Yeah, it's rich like
Yes.
a good chocolate.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like my chocolate simple. Just, milk chocolate.
Yeah, but like it can be really decadent, like a rich
Yeah.
layered chocolate
that's
cake.
true.
You know what I mean? Like a brownie.
But I think this topic came about because, we're nowhere near retirement age, but you can't get to retirement if you don't properly plan for it.
We're closer to retirement than we are
Hold on now.
to the beginning of.
I know, but just pump the brakes with all of that.
I'm just saying, facing facts.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
closer to retirement than we are to the beginning of our careers.
Yeah, but that's why we're doing the podcast, because we want to share these pearls of knowledge and wisdom with others. And as I get closer to, a retirement age, I want to be ready.
Yes, and I
So
think that's
I was asking, we were asking questions, and we're always talking about money and our relationship and working on us, because as people get older, people change and start doing new things that we have to kind of figure out that they weren't doing before.
who are we talking about? Who are we talking about?
I was just saying, like, I'm a new person than I was before. So.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You showed me one perimenopause video on my phone, and
Is that what we're talking about on a podcast today, Christopher Young?
No, we're not. We're talking about
You know when the
retirement.
whole name comes out, it's on like popcorn. Okay, you done pull out Perry in this conversation. She is unwelcome here. Okay, she is unwelcome in this conversation. How you gonna pull her into this conversation?
My bad.
This is a marriage or couples and money podcast. This ain't got nothing to do with Perry. You know what? I ain't got time for you. Anyway, so as we get older, we have to just confirm one, that we are on the right track. And you got off track right there. Okay?
I'm trying to stop
I
laughing.
know. And two, while you continue to
Oh
laugh,
man.
it is okay to go to a professional to ensure that you are in fact on track or doing all the
Yes.
things. And we had questions.
Yes.
So we actually talked to someone who isn't currently our financial planner,
but he is a financial planner.
yes, and we trust him. He has done, some breakout, type of
Some workshops
workshops and stuff that we've been to,
attended,
and we wanted more information,
Yes.
and we had some questions, and we actually had an idea that we were going to do, and he steered us differently and kind of shared a reason why there might be a better way, and I appreciated that. So
I thought it was pretty good insight because a lot of people are familiar with 401ks and traditional IRAs and even Roth IRAs, and we highly encourage people to invest in Roth, start early. We've done that with our girls. They both have Roth IRAs and they're investing. Well, one has a Roth and one has a Roth 401k, and they're investing in both of those, which you do want, tax free and tax deferred assets to grow over time because that's how you begin to offset, taxes as you get older.
so let's clarify: 401ks,
Tax deferred.
traditional IRAs,
Yep, tax deferred.
and 403bs.
Tax deferred. Meaning you invest in them now and you don't pay taxes until you withdraw from those later.
Yes. And so today you get a reduction on
Yes.
the income that you are taxed with the money that you put
So technically you receive a tax benefit
in
today,
because you don't have to pay
Right.
pay taxes on that money.
but then that money goes into a fund and it grows over time. And the hope is that when you retire, your tax bracket or tax level is lower,
Yeah.
so that when you start to draw that money down, it then is paid taxes are paid at a lower rate.
So the Roth IRA, which is a lovely, and I have to add, like a SEP IRA is also in that
Yes.
pre-tax account, that kind of a thing. Solo
That tax
401ks, if you are self-employed, you can have a solo 401k.
Yes.
Those things are also pre-tax, so you get taxed on it later when you pull it out. But the golden ticket is the Roth IRA, and that is, it grows tax free. So any withdrawals that you take out of it are tax free because it's after
Pay
tax
the taxes
dollars
now.
that you put into it.
You pay taxes, then you put money in the Roth. Then that money grows, the compound interest grows, and the gains are tax free when you pull them out later.
So the thing that I'll say about a Roth IRA, while it is wonderful and lovely and we all should have one, the two challenges are income limitations, meaning
Yes.
over a certain income you can no
Cannot
longer
invest.
contribute to it. And then two is it's honestly not enough. Like, unless you start when you're in your 20s, literally in your 20s, and continue to do a Roth IRA throughout your lifetime, and you are able to do it even as your income increases, it's not going to be enough money for retirement because they
The
have
limitations
a limitation
that are on investing in it. Like this year, I think it's only you can only put $7,000 into a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
Where with the 401k you can put $23,000
Yeah.
into that. So it's a third of what you can put into a 401k. So that it augments your retirement. So you have to
Yeah.
have a strategy where you employ both. And
So
sorry, go ahead.
So one more thing is just you have to think about, like, it's a great vehicle, but it can't be the only one. And that is
Yes.
like the big deal overall is there are many different ways to save for your own future. And this conversation that we had with this financial planner helped us to see even more ways.
Right.
Because I think we actually had a couple of blind spots there.
Yeah. We were actually thinking about taking money and converting some of the traditional IRA into Roth by doing like a backdoor Roth and, pay the taxes on it now, then let that grow tax free so we could increase our tax free income. But he had a very good point. He said, I think that you should, because we're tithers. He actually got us to reframe our thought around how we give because we could build up assets with an indexing account or basically a brokerage account and give from that, which would be stocks versus giving cash. And I was like, huh? I perked up because it was like, it frees up. It just allows us to do so many different things. I don't want to jump. I get excited sometimes about this stuff. I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah. No, but I think we can lean into that. Like he mentioned the idea of us having just a non-retirement account. And for this podcast, we can call that a brokerage account. We can call it,
for the sake of the podcast, we will call it a brokerage account.
And in that, we would index the funds. We would mimic, if you will, the S&P 500. And so we would just get the stocks that the S&P 500 tracks.
We could pick and choose because they would be individual stocks.
Yes, but we put it in there, so we're diversifying. And historically speaking, the S&P 500 has averaged 11% return, which we love. Like, this is double-digit returns. Let's go. So we would index to that. And when it's performing well, we can pull the dollars out.
Take the winners and put those aside.
Yeah. And then the losses, you know what I mean? Like we can.
There's means by which you can, address the losses or the losers.
Yeah. So here's ultimately.
We have to say this.
Yes.
We are not professional tax or investment advisors.
No.
We are sharing our thoughts and opinions and our strategy in hopes that you can learn from us through our experience.
So one big thing is we got a second opinion, right? So we do have a financial planner that we use, and we have a brokerage house that we utilize for our assets. So, but we actually talked to somebody different,
totally independent of that,
right? Just to get this second viewpoint, and we're going back to our original financial advisor and sharing some of the things that we've discussed and potentially opening the account, et cetera, et cetera. So we, just like in medicine, when you get a diagnosis and you're trying to figure out, is this real or not, you might get a second opinion. Or if you get a quote on some work being done at your home and then you get a second opinion, this is kind of what that was. And we didn't see it at the time that way. That's kind of what that was.
You know how I would describe it? It's almost like when you're building a house and you have to have blueprints.
Yes.
And you have to look at those blueprints, and those blueprints have a lot of different details. Mm-hmm. But it's the plan that you have to utilize to build a house.
Yeah.
And we had our entire financial current, our past, our present, and our future kind of outlined on a whiteboard. Mm-hmm. So we could see our full financial picture and view all outlined on one whiteboard. And that was illuminating to me because it caused me to think about, okay, what have I done, where I've done this part good, I've done this, we're heavyweight in that area, and this is an area where income lies and what we want to do. And when it was all laid out and we were able to stand back and look at it, we could see how the different parts and pieces came together. And we still learn, and we still seek insight and seek out professionals. And we encourage you to continue to do that because it's those professionals that are going to help you get understanding that will empower you to make good decisions.
So the interesting thing about seeing it on the whiteboard, It in fact was our entire net worth, right? So
Yes.
any assets that we have for retirement, our home, cash position, HSA, things like that. And then he also asked us how much we were paying in taxes and how much we were giving and those kinds of things to see even that amount of the picture and what we spend today currently on routine expenses for the home and that
It
kind of
gave a
thing.
holistic view of
Yes.
our entire financial situation.
And we knew the numbers. So one takeaway immediately before we even get
That's
into
true.
the thing that we were going to talk about is to know your net worth and know what all your assets are, know what your
Know
home
the
is worth,
breakdown.
know how much you owe on it, know your vehicles, know how much you pay in taxes, know how much you give, and all of these things so that you can have a big picture view of your own personal finances. Because I think even that is telling when, for instance, he was talking about the HSA, right? And we were like, yeah, that's the one account that's probably small because we still use it, right? And then but we could stop using it and let it grow and that be a part of our
Yep.
retirement portfolio as
Max it
well,
out, stop
right?
utilizing it, because we were looking at some things that could potentially change our cash position to the positive.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, then it's like, well, I don't have to use the HSA because I've just freed up
Mm-hmm.
cash so I could pay for
Yeah.
medical expenses. And I think knowing the strategy or what our long term goals and objectives were is also important.
Yeah.
Because as he asked questions, we were in rapid fire, like blah, 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 boom, boom, boom. We were firing the answers back because we've thought about this. We've talked about it. And I think for couples that are listening to this, that's an important step, is to be on the same page and have discussed it, because there wasn't a lot that we differed on during that conversation. I think there were a couple points that,
You answered the questions differently than what I would have. We did not disagree,
yes,
but some things that you find to be a higher priority are less of a priority for me in particular, and some things that, so for instance, you were much more wanting to convert to a backdoor raw than I was. It wasn't as big of a need for me as it was for you. That was it. So we got that question answered.
hmm
Um, and in the past, we've always talked about how you have a higher need to have more of a larger emergency fund than I ever
yes,
did, right? And so those, while emergency fund we absolutely agree on, probably the
the
amount
amount we
we
differ
might
on,
differ, but the truth is there's no harm in having more. So like there's no
right?
reason for us to fight about it. Like
Yeah,
we just see
there's
it a little
no, it's
different.
not a bad idea to have more cash on hand.
Yeah.
Not like significantly more, because then you could take that cash and put it in the market and be doing something else with it versus just letting it sit, get 5 or 6% when they could be getting, 10 or 12%.
So it was really good to see like the big picture of our entire situation. So the one thing that he said that just in simple terms, without getting into the details quite yet, he was just like, essentially increase or improve your cash position. Some of our conversation was around how our assets would be passed on to our daughters and
hmm
what we would want to do longer term. And we had some assets that are already taxed, some that are going to be taxed later, and some that are taxed never.
Never.
And the
It's like,
tax,
tell me more about that tax
I
never.
know, I know. It's actually not a lot, right? Like life insurance is never taxed,
Yes.
but so it's not a lot of things
It's the
that's,
things that pass directly
yeah,
from one to another
right,
outside of probate,
yeah.
not taxes. So,
So but the cash position, he was saying, obviously we had a remodel, so we used some of our cash for that purpose and we fully intend to
replenish.
replenish that. But he had this other idea, the brokerage account, back to that, as a flexible way to have some cash on hand, but earn that 11% since it's
hmm
indexed to the S&P 500. And I have heard other people say similar things, right? So we're like adjacent to the FIRE movement and the FIRE community, financial independence, retire early. A lot of them utilize accounts like that, but I didn't see how it applied to me. And now that I see,
Until we sat down with this plan.
yes. So I think for clarity, financial independence, retire early, the FIRE community, they keep more on cash than probably the average person. So in account like this, because their income fluctuates here and there, they might retire. Some of them might retire in their 30s, but typically it's in their 40s, and they want to
You
have
need to
more
have
cash
cash
on
on hand.
hand versus pulling everything from retirement accounts. That is a reason why they have it. Because we were never trying to retire early necessarily. We believe in financial independence, but retiring early was never
Yeah,
really.
we were always long-term investors, and
Yeah,
we're admittedly more traditionalist in
true.
our approach.
Yeah,
You know, slow and steady wins the race,
yeah.
but I think the big point of this is that diversification and adjusting your strategy along the way is so very important,
Yeah.
because you can start out with one thing and just, check that box, or turn that turn that automatic investment on, and you're, maxing out your 401k when you build to that.
And
If
we've
you have a Roth, you could continue to max that out, as long as your income allows you to contribute to that, which is awesome. That is great. But at some point, you're going to have to step back and say, okay, what is my long-term goal? Do I have interest in retiring early, or what age do I want to retire? What do I want my lifestyle to look like? Do you have a spouse? Do you have children? How are you going to prepare for the future to pass assets on to them? Do you want to be charitable? And if so, how do you intend to do that? Because all of those questions will yield slightly different answers in what you continue to do. I don't think you would ever turn the Roth off as long as you're eligible for it. I would say never turn that off. And the 401k, as long as you're able to contribute to that, I wouldn't say turn that off. But you might change some of the things you do and where you put some of your cash that is remaining, depending upon the strategy that you have.
so it's easy, and we are guilty of this. It's easy to get on autopilot and not look at the big picture. Right. And so while we're doing well, like we're fine with our retirement, I would consider us coast fire, which means that if we never contributed another dollar to our retirement assets, we would still be able to retire on time and with enough money at full retirement age.
We can
So
still do stuff.
we can still live the life that we want to live.
Yes.
That is, at this point, if we never did anything else, never added another dollar to our retirement dollars, we're
They will
coast fire.
continue to grow.
They would grow
Yep.
and multiply for us, and we have enough time for it to do so, so that we could retire. But we're not choosing to stop our retirement. We're not choosing to stop investing in our retirement, but we have spent quite a bit of money putting it into retirement accounts. And
Yeah.
the new information from this particular person was, you probably need to put some money in non-retirement accounts, and that's what their brokerage account would be for.
And what I think this did also, we have goals of buying, other real estate. And when you start to shift some of, like I said, keep the Roth or keep the 401k turned on. But in our case, shift how we give and give differently, and it frees cash up. Then we could start to funnel monies into real estate, buy other property. We want a vacation home, we actually want a investment / vacation home. And we can start to do that as part of our, strategy for the long term retirement. And so it's like, oh, okay. So it started to crystallize that, well, this can actually happen without us just dropping a whole bunch of cash on another property, and we're not going to take on other debt because that's not part of the plan.
So when you were talking, I was thinking like this is advanced strategies for both tax planning as well as retirement planning.
Yes.
So it's
and
just
giving.
And giving. So it is new ways to ensure that we're keeping our taxes low.
Yep.
That we still have enough for retirement. We're being strategic about our giving, and it's just wise. But if you don't ask, you don't know. So I
Yes.
think I just want to pause here and say, if you're trying to do investing on your own, you could be missing out on learning about some of these techniques. If all you're doing is investing in your 401k at work and you don't have an outside person's perspective on your overall picture and where you're headed, even if you're in debt today, they can help you to see what's possible when you do get out of debt, right? And so,
Like Chat GPT is not to the point where you can just put in a prompt and it give you all the answers around your financial
and don't trust it.
strategy.
Don't trust it
Yes, you
100%.
do have to proof Chat GPT because it is wrong sometimes.
Right.
But the emergence of AI will make this, I think, easier for some people to do on their own, but you still need trusted professionals that do a lot of this. And AI, I think the part that is going to change is the modeling, the financial modeling and the mathematics that occurs in the background because supercomputers will be able to do that at a much faster and more efficient rate potentially than humans can do that part of it. But it will never remove the need for someone to think about strategically how you do all these things.
So I want to share some of the benefits of this non-retirement brokerage account that we're talking about. Anybody can have one, first of all. Anybody can open one.
We sound like a couple of nerds.
We are nerds, honey. And you are more of a nerd in this area than I am. I'm more of a budget nerd. You're probably the investing nerd. But
Yeah.
I want to talk
I
about
stop sometimes and think like maybe I missed my call.
sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I do wonder that too.
Yes. Yes,
But
because I get so excited.
you get so excited about your career path as well.
Yeah, I mean, I get excited about a lot of things, you know? It's just one of those things where, I always felt like I could have done 10 things that had 10 levels of success.
You have no lack of confidence. So let's talk about the benefits because anybody can have one of these accounts. So you could potentially, if you wanted to, use a brokerage account to save money for a vehicle,
Yes.
right? You leave the money in there for over a year and you will be subject to long-term capital gains, which is a lower rate of taxation on the growth. Okay. So if you wanted to take 5 years or 3 years to save for another car or save for, I wouldn't do saving for education for kids. They have accounts for that.
Right.
But if it's
And there's
maybe even,
benefits to those accounts versus this.
but even like, down payment on a house or whatever, there are other reasons you could use it because there are no penalties on this account to take it out. You can take it out whenever you want to. It's just about being strategic when you do it for the taxation purposes. So there's flexibility here, right? And so for us, like in my mind, I'm thinking we can utilize this to begin saving for our real estate endeavors that we want to get into in several years. But also it's, a benefit to our heirs as well. If something should happen to us, this is another account that's easier access to than retirement accounts, for instance. And so for them in that purpose, that would, be a good account to have. So I just think that
It'll help them deter taxes
yeah,
because their step up basis
yeah.
the gains will be included in that.
So it's cool to have that and utilize it for our giving because we have a significant amount that we give on a routine basis because we're tithers. And so if we can utilize this account for that purpose, I just think that I don't really even think there's a lot of downside. Do you?
No, I don't. But like someone might be listening to this and saying, man, I don't understand all this or I don't get all of this. But I think the point that I would stress is that we're talking about our situation. Your situation may be similar. You may be at a similar point or phase of life, or you may be at a younger point or a later point. The whole goal of this is to look at your situation strategically. Like work with professionals to take a step back and look at your entire financial snapshot. Like we looked at our entire net worth and everything and knew what it looked like. And then we could make decisions. And so I'm starting to think about my make it worth it already.
How about it, babe?
And for my make it worth it, I think you have to take a picture because then you can look and you can study that picture. And when you study that picture, you can see what's good with it. It's almost like a painting, you can see what's good with it, what's not so right with it, and how you need to adjust it. And so that's what I hope people would take away from this is literally just take a snapshot of your financial situation, because it will shed light on some things that maybe you weren't aware of. And you can only shed that light sometimes when you get the insight from someone outside, an unbiased third party who takes a look at that picture along with you. Because then they can identify blind spots or areas of opportunity that you may not have considered. So I say my make it worth it is take a snapshot, then review that with a financial professional that can help you illuminate a couple of points that will help you strategically more long term.
Awesome. So my make it worth it. So this is interesting. I've been thinking about this a little bit. My make it worth it is that, like, as a coach, I have looked at people's big picture to see how we can strategize around debt reduction, or some of the foundational goals, like having an emergency fund and that kind of thing. And so it sometimes does take a professional to help you see it from that vantage point. And that is the lens that I see things in, is how can we get rid of debt? But a financial advisor can see it from the lens of how do we maximize on your retirement goals, your giving goals, or your future goals, given what it is that you're doing today. And our blind spot, let's just be very clear, is that it would be great for us to have, like, a good rule of thumb is like 10% in cash. And the brokerage account will help us with that. And so I'm looking at our overall picture in a new way, even though this is something that I would do too. Like, this was a blind spot for me. Like, I'm a professional in one thing and you need a professional in another.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We got some marching orders. So until next time.
We're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.